Welcome to industrial timber, where raw waste, heavy steel, hydraulic pressure, crushing force, shredding systems, balers. Every pipe, vehicle, appliance, rock, stump, and scrap load becomes part of a bigger industrial system built around power, recovery, and efficiency. The process begins with oversized PVC pipes, the kind of bulky plastic waste that looks awkward, long, and difficult to manage. Then the WIMA WLK1500 takes over. Long pipe sections slide into the machine, the cutting system bites down, and stubborn plastic turns into a controlled stream of chopped material. What looked like a storage problem becomes something manageable, transportable, and ready for the next stage of recycling. Then rock crushing enters the scene. An 8-ton-per-hour jaw crusher breaks rough stone with steady mechanical pressure, turning raw rock into usable material. It is simple, direct, and satisfying to watch, because the process is honest. Hard material goes in, controlled force takes over, and cleaner output comes out. No drama, just resistance being reduced by steel. Every shredded piece of wood, every processed batch, every reduced waste load pushes material recovery forward. These machines keep waste from being dumped, buried, or forgotten. Instead, they take bulky material and turn it into resources that can move back through the system. That is the real point of industrial processing. It is not just about power. It is about making material useful again. On the ferrous side, the Bono Primax shows why scrap metal shredding matters. It does not simply tear metal apart for spectacle. It converts difficult scrap into a form the recycling chain can actually handle. Big throughput only matters when the output is useful, and machines like this are built to turn heavy, mixed, stubborn material into something ready for sorting, transport, and reuse. Then the SEBA Light Track 5030 brings a different rhythm. Rock crunches under the machine, the engine works steadily, and the whole operation feels like industrial sound design made from dust, torque, and pressure. Every vibration tells the same story. Raw material does not become useful without force, control, and the right machine behind it. If you enjoy heavy recycling machines, crushing power, industrial shredders, demolition equipment, timber processing, and material recovery systems working under pressure, subscribe now and stay with Industrial Timber. This is where waste stops being waste and machines prove what modern engineering can really do. This is where horsepower meets pressure, steel meets resistance, and waste stops being waste. Every machine in this lineup has one clear purpose: take the mess, control it, reduce it, and send it back into the system cleaner, denser, and more useful than before. That is industrial timber at its core. Then come the appliances. Refrigerators, washing machines, bulky white goods, and old household machines all meet the Slayer XL. Its dual-shaft, low-speed shredding system bites into large scrap appliances and pulls them apart piece by piece. What used to sit in homes as finished machines now becomes raw, recyclable material. The process looks almost too easy, but that is only because the machine is built for this kind of punishment. The focus then shifts to demolition safety. Silo demolition is never just about knocking something down. It is about controlling the collapse, protecting everyone near the site, and making sure the job ends cleanly instead of turning into a disaster. A structure this large does not forgive poor planning. Once weight starts moving, the crew needs timing, control, and distance on their side. Green waste returns with the TBG 630, powered by a 661 horsepower Scania V8. Branches, leaves, brush, and organic material go into the system, and the machine processes more than 120 tons per hour. That is not landscaping. That is industrial scale recovery. Nature's waste becomes material flow, and the machine keeps it moving with serious production power. Then comes the sound again. Engines rumbling, blades striking, steel folding, car bodies snapping, and metal giving way under pressure. That sound is part of why this footage works. You do not just watch the power, you hear it. You feel the difference between random destruction and controlled industrial force. That is the real logic of a shredding plant. Material enters bulky, mixed, and difficult to manage. It leaves reduced, sorted, and ready for the next stage. Industrial processing turns disorder into value. The more controlled the output, the more useful the material becomes. The CPS 630 baling press steps in like a giant organizer for scrap chaos. Loose metal, car bodies, and bulky piles get compressed into dense, clean bales ready for transport and recycling. With output reaching up to 45 tons per hour, this is not just strength. This is strength turned into logistics. The machine does not only crush, it makes the next stage easier, faster, and cleaner. Even snow becomes part of the test. Industrial shredders and processing machines do not get to pause just because conditions are cold. If they are built properly, They keep working through ice, low temperatures, and difficult job sites. A real machine does not only perform in perfect weather, it performs when the environment starts pushing back. Then the RDN 7-ton scrap shears show their purpose in blast furnace dismantling. Thick metal that would stop smaller tools gets sliced apart with controlled force. This is where cutting precision and demolition power meet. The machine does not waste movement. It applies force exactly where the material needs to fail. The Mike Simmons crusher starts the next scene with no hesitation. A full-size van rolls in, and within seconds, the machine turns it into a crushed shell. Panels fold, metal bends, and the whole vehicle disappears under hydraulic force. It looks brutal, but this is not destruction just for views. In Bradford Council's fight against fly tipping, abandoned vehicles are not left to rot. Once identified, the crusher arrives, and the problem is removed for good. Then a 50-ton cat digger makes car crushing even more aggressive. It grabs, presses, and flattens vehicles with direct force. Some machines shred, some machines cut. This one simply overpowers. There is no elegance here, just weight, hydraulic pressure, and a machine strong enough to make steel give up. The stone crusher on the Marmolada outcrop keeps shaping rough ground into something functional. Every bite into the rock changes the terrain. Industrial machinery is not only removing material, it is rebuilding the path forward. In work like this, crushing is not the end. It is the beginning of a usable surface, a better route, or the next phase of construction. Then the Blue Devil GF4000 twin-shaft shredder takes over. The sound alone tells you what kind of machine this is. Motors hum, shafts pull material in, and metal cracks under pressure. It is violent, but not messy. Every movement has a purpose. Heavy processing can be brutal and precise at the same time.
So good.
A motorcycle gets the same treatment almost instantly. One moment it exists as a complete machine, and the next it is being torn apart by industrial force. That is the difference between normal breakdown and real recycling processing. The machine does not hesitate. It reduces the object into material the system can handle. Next, the GreenTech LS2 shredder teams up with the Terex Ecotech TTS 620T. Stumps, logs, contaminated green waste, and rough organic material enter the line, and the system breaks everything down with rhythm and control. This is not just shredding. This is a full processing chain working together, turning difficult waste into something usable. Then steel bends, engines crumble, and metal yields to the Hamilton B950DK1 machine. Its mission is simple: total car destruction. The machine brings direct crushing force to vehicles that once moved under their own power. Now they become scrap, reduced, and prepared for the next stage. Then comes the metal cage against the shredder. Spoiler alert, the cage loses badly. That is what happens when lightweight structure meets industrial torque. The machine grabs it, twists it, tears it down, and turns it from a rigid object into processed scrap. That is industrial timber. Crushers, shredders, balers, shears, demolition systems, green waste processors, car crushers, rock breakers, and recycling machines turning raw chaos into industrial output. If this is the kind of machine power you came for, subscribe to Industrial Timber now. We focus on the machines behind modern recycling, material recovery, timber processing, demolition, and industrial transformation, the kind of technology most people never get to see up close. Drop a comment with the machine that impressed you most today, and stay with Industrial Timber for more crushing force, shredding power, heavy recovery systems, and real industrial engineering under pressure.